Hello and welcome to episode 41 of the Grove podcast. My name is Mos, I'm your host as usual, and today I'm joined by someone who is not in the UK. Tabs, where are you? Why are you there? And what's your plans for the next few days?
Hello everyone, hello listeners, hello Moz. Yeah, I'm away with work at the moment. I'm just north of LA, place called Westlake Village, and I'm here for work for a couple of days, and stuff like that. Yeah, so this is an international pod recording, and yeah, so yeah, for me it's sort of early in the morning, and for you guys it's sort of later on in the afternoon, evening. So yeah, so all good. I'm just a little bit jet lagged, but I should be fine. I should be good.
Yeah. We'll talk about the game against Leicester, the crazy game against Leicester on the weekend, and hopefully that'll be your therapy and you'll be able to relax tonight and sleep well. I must say, just what a game! What an absolute game that was. I booked the flight very late on the night before, about 10:30 at night, and I'm glad. I am glad that I did. Yeah, I am glad. I'm glad that I booked it, and I'm glad that I got to see us win a game. And it was really nice to see you guys, see the Grove, and also really nice to see Ian, aka Arse Cannon Picks. He met us kind of pre-match. It was really nice to see him and his cousin as well. So big shout out to him. What a guy! What a lovely man. Honestly, just thought I'd hit the jackpot meeting you, Tabs, and then suddenly Ian comes along as well and almost steals that crown from you. Anyway, we're also going to look ahead to the Champions League game against PSG, which is coming up tomorrow, actually. So quick turnaround. But before we start, about anything, highlights and lowlights. So you can go first, Tabs. After that big yawn you just had, what was your highlight and lowlight from the
So
game?
and there was no reflection on your introduction. Yeah, there was actually quite a lot of highlights to pick and a few lowlights to pick from this, but I think for me the biggest is our two fullbacks, so Timber and Calafiori, and the performance they put in, the fact that we can rest up Ben White and we don't miss him, and they were great. They were both inverting, they were both out wide, you know, and particularly Calafiori, you cannot miss him. He's a force of nature. He's yeah, you can't miss him because he's a very handsome chap, but you can't miss him because he's a unit and he's everywhere. And he's a bit rough around the edges. He still needs to be polished by Arteta, but that will come. But what he offers defensively, attacking wise, just everywhere, he was great. So yeah, he's a physical, handsome beast, and the way he carries the ball, the way he's also getting on the ends of crosses. He almost scored again, and things like that. So and then also I think he's also one of the reasons why our left hand side is functioning a bit better, and then we're not so reliant on our right hand side, especially with Odegaard not being around. So yeah, those two were my highlight, but particularly, my fellow countryman, Calafiori. He's rapidly becoming a bit of a star for the team. Um, in terms of low light, I would guess it was I was going to say the Calafiori injury, but it seems like that's not a thing anymore, so that's fine. I think it was just the first 10 minutes of the second half, just sloppy, and that's sort of what led to the comeback. I think the team mentally thought they'd had it won. They come out right, 2-0 up, jog round, win the game, job done. And the fact that we found it very hard to go through the gears, it took us a while to get up to pace after, it was a bit of a kick out the backside that did it. So yeah, just that beginning of second. I think everyone was there. Oh, okay, chill, 2-0 up, half time. But we can enjoy the game, carry on the chat with our neighbours and so on. And it did not work out like that. So that was me.
Yeah, I mean, my highlight was looking at the league table at halftime, thinking, right, how many more goals before we can overtake City in goal difference. Uh, the highlight was just the performance in the first half was very good. I just want to echo your sentiments on Timber and Calafiori. They're looking so good that it looks like we don't even miss Ben White and Zinchenko or whoever else, Kiwi or even. It just looks like we went to the next level again. And when Ben White's fully fit, I think he's going to struggle to get back into the team. I really do. I think, you know, Timber's very, very. Timber's had a season out injured to learn exactly how Arsenal play. He's watched. I'm assuming he would have been, watching training in all the tactical, analysis meetings that they have. Arteta would have, and the coaches would have told him how they want him to play when he's fit again. So he just looks amazing, really, really amazing, and he comes across so well. He was in the pre-match press conference today with Arteta, and he just comes across so well, so humble, just such a nice guy, and someone who I think will be an Arsenal player that we will take note of time and time again. And Calafiori as well, he was brilliant. So yeah, the highlight was kind of the goal difference feeling, but also the highlight was also the lineup. That we started with. I really liked it. I think it worked well. Low light for me was just the feeling that the players are kind of went one step back almost at the start of the second half. It feels like we just took our foot off the gas and we hadn't learned from mistakes gone past. And I feel like players like Saka, I'm not saying he had a bad game, but he could have been more involved. I think he could have been more. Yeah, just he didn't look like he came out of second gear at all through the whole course of the game, and I just don't know what it is, but it just I just don't understand how how I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess I wasn't very impressed with his performance on the weekend. I know you've what you going to say to that.
What? No, and as I was torn between this one as well because I saw him and I've got a great seat for him in the second half, and I had a bit of a sense of the same. I found like his look. We're not going to lay into Saka. He's a fantastic player. If it's Trossard's goal, he gets another assist. But you're right. He set such high expectations for us, and when we feel it's a bit off, I found some of his decision making and choices and execution in part of the second half wasn't quite right. I think he was shooting when the angles were too narrow, too tight. I think he could have crossed it, but he had he had 7 shots, he had 8 take-ons, 14 touches in the boxes, and created 8 chances. So when you see this is a really weird one where you see the stats. It's like he had another impressive game. It was just I think there was some elements to it that I think it was just a short spell that I didn't appreciate. It's a tough one. I hear you, um, but I don't think it's nothing to be too down on. And on your point around Timber, it was actually stated, in Arteta's press conference when they talked about him. Yes, he was in all the meetings last year, the training sessions, all the rest of it, to get to know the team. He was there. He's been part of it. So mentally he's prepared and he understands it. So that was exactly what we did with him last year, and it's what we've been doing with Marino in the last few weeks as well during the injuries. Yeah, just to make you feel involved, part of the team. So actually, when you come in, and it's just about the physical side of things.
I'm not saying Saka had a. Yeah, maybe because I captain him in fantasy football, that I'm a little bit more annoyed. But yeah, I just feel like he could have done. Just there was a little bits missing. I
Yeah.
think the lack of Odegaard really is impacting on Saka the most out of the whole team. I really do. I believe that. The one other positive I would mention just before we get into the how he played and the stats and whatnot is Martinelli seems to have just what a performance from him, right? A goal and an assist, and it's just like he's almost mirroring the whole Brennan Johnson situation over at Spurs, where he's just not that the fans were hating on him, but he seems to have found his rhythm again, and I was really impressed with it. I was happy that he managed to score as well. Actually, it was a long time coming, and who knows that could make him kick on and go on from here. But yeah, I guess we were still rusty, but like you say, we have people learning still to play, and there's new partnerships, and there's movements and whatnot. But the numbers, as you have wrote here, the numbers say it all. If we hadn't won that game, I think it would have been an absolute travesty. Uh, 4.62 xg, but that doesn't tell the full story. Mads Hermansen had the game of his life. And I've seen a tweet saying, how boring. Why don't you go back to 1912 and try saving the Titanic instead of saving Arsenal title hopes or something more interesting? But he had a great game. Second half, he made, I think it was a Premier League account or someone who posted a montage of his saves. And wow, there was one from Havertz who kind of took it over his head and then hit it on the volley, and he got in the way. And Trossard's shot, who I think he could have done a little bit better with. Trossard, I think he could have placed it into one of the corners, but the keeper for Leicester was brilliant. And as you wrote here, the field tilt was 93%. That's huge. But we were relentless. We attacked like how Man City attacked against us last week, and for us, we scored two goals, something that Man City couldn't do. So yeah, I guess barring the two Leicester goals, I don't really think there was anything that I worried about for them. And I must say, the first goal was a lucky, deflection. If it hadn't hit of Havertz, I think Raya would have comfortably caught it. So you can't really say too much about that. And the second goal, wow, 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 wow. What I would say though is, as that phase was happening, the guy next to me was shouting like for someone to close Leicester down. We stood off them, and then they had the chance to cross it in. But what a finish! What a finish! Taking that on the volley, the ball curling in. It was a great, great finish. And do you know what? We'll talk about this a little bit later on. We have a question from Alistair that touches on this, but it's such a nice feeling to actually go 2-all and win 4-2 rather than just have the comfortable 2-0 win. But yeah, how did you feel about how Leicester played?
Well, Leicester offered nothing. I mean, they offered nothing. Well, they had they had three shots in on total. Two of those were the goals. They're 0.32 xg. Yeah, no, they had zero corners, and look, we didn't let them play. The only the only time that they did play and scored was due to our sloppiness. We lost a bit of control. They started to press higher and stuff like that, and challenge us more, and feel like, okay, well, after they got the one lucky goal, then okay, we might get something out of this, or try to at least, But no, they offered very, very little, and just on a couple of points, yeah, I did feel we're still trying to, these relationships. We've got new players in new positions. We've got new players to the team, and actually, it's really important in how people relate to each other, because normally we've got the automatons or automatisms, or whatever the word is. Where where exactly where everyone is. All of a sudden, we've changed shape, changed players, and so we will feel a little bit rusty. We'll still be dominant, but those short passes, the speed of the pass, anticipating movement, we're still working that out, and that's fine. Yeah, that happens to a lot of teams in the beginning of the season. We're just having to adapt to it more because of what's happened in terms of injuries and the like. So yeah, I did feel that rustiness was there, but it's not more rustiness. It's just trying to learn, and it's also trying to work out how much movement there is, because if you do too much movement, then no one knows where you're going to be, and if you do too little, then we're all static. But I think, we cope with that well, in the first half. And in terms of, our complete dominance, was it 36 shots, 16 on target, 17 corners. It's like that's just
And
absolute,
we're
absolute.
finally we're beating the
Uh,
first man from our corner kicks. That was a
yeah.
bugbear of mine last season, but finally we are beating
Well,
the first man.
yeah, we definitely are, because they're all going fast post, and and in terms of Mads Hermansen, that was 13 saves he made, and that's the most since the famous game I think we lost to Man United, where David De Gea had the game of his life, back in 2017. So yeah, yeah. I mean, what can you do? Yeah, they scored two goals out of nothing. The goalkeeper's a worldie, but we are not adverse to scoring goals after the 90-minute mark. The pressure. we are a good team. We don't panic. The pressure that everyone around me was like, come on, what you do? There was a certain moment. It was 90 minutes, 90 plus one, 90 plus two, and we were playing it out in the back, trying to be controlled. And I think, well, there's no point lumping it because then there's a 50-50 chance of winning the ball. They may get it. Your best bet is just 5 seconds of patience, and you could feel the crowd getting antsy. And what was interesting was, we were all there. You could hear the crowd was just murmuring. It was just one of those afternoons. Oh, we're going to win. Chit chat, and then finally we got a bit of life in the game when he went to 2-2, and suddenly we realized, hang on, City have lost points. We were 2-0 up. What are we doing here? And it was amazing the turn in atmosphere. But and the other thing in terms of in terms of how we were playing, there was a bit of horseshoe of death to it sometimes back like from the old Wenger days, just passing around the edge, and I think that's where we missed Odegaard, trying to maybe find that incisive pass or those partnerships where like the quick 1-2, and I just felt we would sometimes there'd be chances that we could be crossing in the box first time, um, but no, we would cut back inside. I know we're trying to find that particular movement, but and this is it, the way we play with wingers on the opposite side to their straight great on their stronger foot. But there was a couple of times when Martinelli and Saka were getting not to the byline as such, but almost, and you're right, okay, whip it in. And because it was on their weaker foot, they would cut back inside, and then maybe we'd lose a bit of momentum. So again, these are small things, but just some things you notice that okay, maybe we can improve on, maybe just get it in there. I think sometimes we could have got it into the box earlier because Havertz was there a lot of the time. We would have players there. So, but yes, you're right. If we got what we deserved, and if we hadn't have done, uh, yeah, I don't know how the crowd would have reacted, but that would have been a travesty of justice if we hadn't done that.
It's quite bittersweet that Martinelli has now levelled Mesut Ozil for Arsenal goals for me, because Mesut Ozil is my favourite all-time Arsenal player, and it feels quite bittersweet that that's the case. But it was a very well taken goal, and it was Timber, wasn't it, who came down
Yeah.
the left side, and it was a good, well timed run. There was It was well deserved at the time. I thought from then we would kick on, and we didn't wait, and well, it was like 46th minute, wasn't it, where we before we then scored, and it was it was Trossard. Now, do you think that Arteta believes that the front three of Trossard, Martinelli, and Saka is the way forward? Do you think he'll stick with that going forward, or do you think he will try to incorporate others, Havertz, for example, when Odegaard comes back and whatnot? Do you think that'll change?
It'll be horses for courses, but no, no, I would imagine we would go back to a familiar formation or familiar style when Odegaard is back. It seemed like he wanted that midfield of Marino, Odegaard, and Rice. Havertz is best as the target, as the man up front at number nine. What I find, isn't it great that we've got these options? Isn't it great? And Trossard isn't the forward mate. If you watch, it's more of a box between Trossard, Havertz, um, sort of Rice and Party, or whoever comes in from left back or right back, and then one of them goes out. Because sometimes you'd have the two wide, the two fullbacks on the inside, and you'd have Rice and Party on the outside, and it was just flow. So no, but I think the good thing is we've got those options. He's a clinical finisher, and he would go back to saying, okay, he could maybe give Havertz a rest, he could maybe give Martinelli a rest, and so on. But it's just at the moment we don't have those options, so he's there. And I thought he was a bit peripheral at the beginning, and he came back into it. Um, but yeah, and on Nelly, I'm really pleased for him because I think he's done a lot of good work this season that's gone unrewarded. And this was a really nice the first goal was a really nice finish because again he did it again. He's sort of running across the top of the box to get into the middle, a bit like the chance he missed against Atalanta, making that run. And he hit it. Again, I think a lot of people would have thought it was a Trossard style finish, and he did it nicely. So well done. And then getting the assist for Trossard again. He's getting the rewards that he deserves. But I'm giving pre-assist to Calafiori on that, on the Trossard goal, because he was down rolling around in the box, and then oh, we're on attack again, quick, get up, which completely confused the Leicester City defenders. They didn't know who was where. He got up, managed to get onside, and I think they were yeah, and then we got the goal. No idea what VAR was looking for in terms of offside, but um, but yeah, so I'm giving a pre-assist to Calafiori on the on the Trossard goal. Um, and then you're right. I think we all thought goal for half time, 2-0, job done, feet up. Thank you very much.
Cigars and slippers, and
Yeah.
then suddenly, you're after 50 minutes of the second half, you're 2-all, and then the next time I looked up at the clock, it was 76 or 77 minutes, and I thought, oh my god, what is going on? Didn't look at the clock again because I know if you sometimes I look at the clock in the stadium, then it goes even faster for some reason. The next time I looked, it was 89 minutes, and I thought, oh no. Seen the fourth official with the board, and I thought, oh no, what is happening? Seen the seven, thought it was a one, started shouting at the fourth official. I was screaming at him, and then realized the guy next to me said, no, no, it's 7 minutes, son, it's 7 minutes. I was like, okay, good. Thank God for that. We had some chances, to be fair, before. Um, and I've mentioned Mads Hermansen, obviously, for various reasons. He kept Leicester in the game up until the 94th minute, but it was just chance after chance. The best one though was when Eddie came on. Wow, just what an impact! I think he just lifted the crowd. He lifted the players. He got the ball on the kind of right hand side of the pitch, cut inside on his left, and the way where I was sitting in block 95, it looked like it was going in, and I
Mm.
thought, oh my god, this is it. This is his chance. And then suddenly, Hermanson got down to his right, made a very good save, and just thought at that point, I thought, yeah, is this going to be one of those days where, like you've mentioned, Man City drop points? Is this where we also drop points? But yeah, when Ethan came on, he lifted the tempo. I don't know what it was. I think it just felt different. It felt different, and it felt like a goal was coming. And then I think right before the 90th minute, Calafiori had a header from the kind of back post area that Mads Hermansen saved.
Yeah.
And then we got lucky. Let's not beat around the bush. We got lucky. That was never going in. That wasn't even on target. Hence why it's been given as a Wilfred and Ndidi own goal. But at the end of the day, you've got to create the chances to score the goals, and so that's what we did. We created a chance. We had a corner, and we scored from it. And then I feel like you know, I feel like Leicester kind of read our game pretty well at the corners. I think they defended
Mm.
pretty well. They
Yeah.
they were man for man a lot of the time. I think a lot of teams go zonal against us, but they went man for man. But what's interesting is for the Trossard one, there was no one on him. There was no one marking him. So I guess it was just lucky, and it reminded me of the Declan Rice goal against Man United when he scored.
Mm.
Probably was that was like his first goal for the club or whatever when he scored from that corner, and it just broke to him. And you have to be in those positions to be able to score those goals. So
I,
we got
I would say lucky. I wouldn't say so because it's not in case of creating your own luck, but we put so much pressure on that we just creating more and more chances, and something's going to happen. And actually, there was an exact replica of that corner where Trossard was at the back post, free, unmarked, and it went wide a few minutes earlier. So that's no, that's planning, that's preparation. Yeah, every goal there's always an element of luck because it ricochets here, goes there, and all the rest of it. But also we're setting ourselves up. And Leicester, you're right. Leicester did really well on the corners. It was a combination of man for man and zonal. So that's why in some aspects there was zonal, and that's why Trossard was just like yeah, at the back, at the back, behind the big melee. He's so small that no one's going to see him spotted behind all the big men. But again, Gabriel made exactly the same run. It went underneath him. It fell to Trossard again, and the first time it went wide. This time he knocks it into an area and ricochets. But there's always going to be an element of that. But no, I think no, it was a luck, but we earned that with that. And yeah, you're right. I mean, the amount of chances we were mentioning, you know, uh, was it Havertz shot over in the 54th minute. Um, there was the double save in the 52nd minute from big G header and a Calafiori header, and then Timber shoots over, and he could have been a bit more composed. Yeah, so 54 Havertz shoots over. 57 Trossard hit the post where he did really well to get his body in position. Hit the post. Then Justin equalizes 63rd. Tross hit over 67. Then 68 Havertz. That was like he did brilliantly to control it. How he saved it point blank, you know. And then 74 was the one with Tross. And I looked at that, and my initial reaction was, you've got to score there. But actually, what happened was, and you think, oh, place it into the corners. The defenders did really well. That the only option was center of the goal where the goalkeeper was, and he sort of hit it high, and the goalkeeper's falling. So I like you say, oh, you've got to score there, got to go far post, and no, it wasn't on. And then if Waneri had scored that, could you imagine the roof would have just like, everyone's in love with this guy. And you're right, and I think what a great cameo. I think, and you touched on it. Leicester's dealt with us really well. Well, when he came on, they didn't really know what he was doing. He didn't know what he was for, what position. So he brought a bit of unpredictability to the game. So therefore, they didn't know what to do. And if they'd have scored that goal, he would have got the gun. At his level, at youth level, that's a goal. But at this level, the goalkeepers are better. Everyone's better. That doesn't go in. But and his cameo has to be made. And that was what I was trying in terms of my highlight. Was it his cameo versus the fullbacks? But his cameo was just superb. But again, I think it needs to be tempered. A lot of people say, right, he's got to start against Southampton. He's got to do that. I think we're managing him well. There's a big difference between starting when the opposition are fully fit and fully fresh to coming on at 70 minutes. They're knackered. There's going to be space. Play 20 minutes is a big, big difference. But if Arteta trusts him to start, fine. But there's a massive, massive difference. And great, what an option to have. What an option to have. So he was fantastic. And actually, one of the highlights was that tackle on the halfway line, which set up which led to our fourth goal, because he did the tackle on the halfway line. Everyone cheered. Leicester City messed up, throw in. The ball breaks through to Jesus. Now this is lucky, Jesus. Yeah, he charges down. I think he could have passed. Everyone was going pass, pass, pass. But again, the defenders were in good positions. That it wasn't easy. And then his shot. Everyone says it's weak or he could have done better, but he shoots a cross goal. So actually, if the goalkeeper can't do anything, well, guess what? Sterling was there for a tap in. Justin gets the tackle in, hits against Havertz in. So I'm not going to be too down on Jesus on that one. It feels like if it hadn't if we hadn't scored, there would have been questions. But upon rewatch, I'm not sure what else he could have done. So, and then that was
Um,
game over.
Gabriel Jesus should have attempted that cross, even though there was a defender on him. He was very greedy, and he got lucky. And I know Arteta will have said to him as well after the game, that's chance there to pass. But we scored, and the
Yeah,
VAR check went on and on. But I knew, because where I was sitting, I was pretty much in line with it, and I knew Havertz was onside. I knew that was a goal, and it's a shame because VAR took away the fact that the celebrations weren't as strong for that goal, because you've got the lengthy VAR check. Everyone's back at the around the center circle and set for either a kick off or a goal kick, and then suddenly the referee points to the 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 center circle and gives the goal. It kind of just ruins the fun. So I think the sooner that semi-automatic offsides come back in, I think the better. However, whether they would still check that with semi-automatics, I don't know if that's one of the criteria potentially. But as you wrote here, Tabs, now the game is over. Relax. As I keep saying, football is stupid. So we've got the 3 points. We've navigated a game where we know the players would have known City drop points in Newcastle. We're back level on points. Yes, Liverpool are top of the league, but I think the highest placed team they've played is Nottingham Forest, so it's a bit of a red herring. We don't know how they'll play until I think their first big game really is against us in a couple of weeks' time, well,
and
a few weeks'
and they
time.
lost to Forest,
Yeah,
and
and they lost to Forest, yeah, and
and
so after the
I'm
international
okay not
break will be the
I'm
the
okay not
test.
being top of the league, because just keep the eyes on someone else, keep the pressure on. Let's just stay thereabouts, because all of a sudden you're top of the league, all the pressure's on, all the question. Just stay under the radar. Well, we've fat chance us staying under the radar, but with all the what's been going on. But yeah, just stay stay under the radar and just keep doing what we're doing. Just one thing that could have changed the game, and then not that we want to carry on talking about refs. Uh, how how lucky was Calafiori to stay on the pitch?
It's one of those tackles where I think it's stupid, but it's not a second yellow card. I think it's a first yellow, but I don't think it's a second yellow. I don't believe it is, to be honest. So there was a lot on social media this morning about people, making saying, "Oh, Bruno Fernandes got sent off for much less." But in the circumstance, I think the referee did well. He did. There's tackles that warrant a yellow card, and there's tackles that warrant a second yellow. And that Calafiori tackle wasn't a second yellow. And there was a tackle from a Leicester player
Skip.
on it was Skip. I can't remember who it was. Was it on
Well,
Timber?
there was one in the first half, Skip on Martinelli, when he went over, studs up over the ball. Not even a card. It could have
Yeah,
been a red. Not even a card. And Skip was lucky; he had a yellow card. And then there was that one where the ref played the worst advantage. He took out Saka, played the advantage, and then we didn't want the advantage because we had like a free kick on the edge of the box, and then didn't give anything. So then Skip could have got it. So had he been sent off, you could see why, because it. But he sort of left his leg dangling there, so it wasn't like really a kick or anything. And I think we had cover. It was a weird one because the referee refereed it perfectly fine in the first half. A couple of incidents where he didn't book players for kicking the ball away, but let's not go there. And then second half he went card happy. The one on Saliba against Vardy in the first few minutes, which led to the equaliser. Uh, that was just Vardy running across Saliba, and he was going nowhere. That's not a yellow card. So it was strange, and it was definitely heart in mouth moment. But I think the referee goes, yeah, I don't need this. I'm not going to send you off. I don't. But isn't it stupid that there's a tolerance for a second yellow card for a foul, but for technical infringements, there's not, and that's a weird one. But
we
yeah,
could
so I think it could have gone either way, and I don't think we could have cried too much had it gone against us again.
just imagine that though. Three players sent off this season already. That would be, oh
And
god.
that would have been 2-2, and that would have been, yeah. I don't know if we would have won or recovered from that. I don't know. Maybe we would have done. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. You were
Who
well
knows?
off with you got your halftime prediction right. You said 2-0, and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you
Oh,
get
sorry,
half
I
a
didn't know
point.
you wanted a full time one.
Yeah. And I said 4-1, and I came very close. And Ian actually asked me on Twitter as well in the morning of the game, what's your prediction? And I said, I backed myself. I said 4-1, and I was very, very, very close. If not for James Justin's beautiful strike, who knows if it would have stayed 4? It would have ended up being 4-2. You always ask now for man of the match and mentions too. I think my man of the match was probably Calafiori. I think he
Yeah.
was he was brilliant. But mentions, I've got three players I want to mention. Uh, Number one is David Dreyer. He didn't have to do much, but the fact that he's ready to play again after an injury that seemed to be a little bit more serious than we potentially thought was very commendable. Number two was Martinelli, who has scored and seems to be, doing Martinelli things again. And the third player is for Ethan Waneri, just for the impact that he had off the bench. And what was also really interesting is I was sat right above where the players warm up, and every time the Arsenal players were coming out to warm up, he was always first. He was always doing the most. He was last back at the bench. He was just, one of those. It's almost like Sunday League, when you're trying to catch the eye of the manager and you're warming up and you're doing everything, and then suddenly, you get the call up. And yeah, just a quick question on Thomas Partey. Did you have any opinion on his performance? So I won't mention who because I feel like I'm always using him as a scapegoat. But one of my Scottish friends, who's not Fraser, said to me post match that he thought Partey was really really poor. Um, so I
No,
don't know what you make of
no,
that.
I thought it was fine. I think his limitations were shown because of where it was. This is one where you think maybe we could have gotten Waneri on earlier. Is because he's not. Yeah, he wasn't shooting. He's not one for making that probing pass. We weren't really being countered, so he wasn't really needed there. from a defensive point of view. So he provides the stability. And look, with him in the team, we're 2-0 up. So, and I think he was fine, um, doing what he needs to do. But yeah, I just think his limitations in terms of what he offers in and around the box were showing up. He's not cute, he's not tricksy or anything like that. So that was also nothing, nothing particular. Maybe he's like, he played really well, against City. He's been regular all season. Maybe a bit of fatigue setting in. Don't know, but no, I felt perfectly fine. And wouldn't pick him out in particular. Yeah, I'm with you in terms of man of the match for me, Fury and the mentions. I think Rice as well also did really well. The second half he was like everywhere. He was also first half he was doing his Steven Gerrard impression with his like crossfield passes, like 40, 50 yard passes and stuff. But he was pretty good as well. But again, this is what I said. Having someone like him as well is great, and I think he's great with his corners, and he's a good threat at corners. Again, when we're basically, when basically everyone's in the final third of the pitch, you don't need him and Party there at the same time. That's why
Mm.
Waneri coming on, and I think now, if we do need that again, Waneri will come on sooner.
Yeah. Okay. Question time.
Yeah.
Alistair, I'm gutted that you weren't there. You were asking as if, about the game as if you were going to be there, and then suddenly you weren't, and I was gutted. I hope to see you at the Emirates Stadium very, very soon. So he says, question for the pod, only if you want it, otherwise ignore. We never ignore questions. Never, ever, ever. So if you have a question, you message me or Tabs and it will get answered. And before I say that, I know either Dennis, Henry, or Matt will put like a random question. Would you rather fight 100 duck sized elephants or 100 elephant sized ducks or something stupid? Um, I think that's one actually. I don't know what I would do. No, it's not. You can't fight 100 duck sized elephants, can you? No, 100 elephant sized
All
ducks. That
right.
would be
The
impossible.
the question is the question: would you rather fight 100 duck-sized elephants or one elephant-sized duck?
That's it. So I would
That's
rather
that's it.
fight one elephant-sized duck. To be honest, I back myself against one, not a
Okay.
hundred of something. So anyway, that's not the question Alistair asked. He said, "Would you rather a regulation 2-0 win or go through what happened versus Leicester today but still win?" For me, it would be to go through what happened over and over again because the adrenaline, the dopamine, the feeling you get of last minute winners. And look at City, look at the empty had last week against us. They were loving it. So that feeling, a last minute winner, we've had plenty of those in the last 3 or 4 years. We really have. There's no better feeling. And a regulation 2-0 win, second half would have been really boring. We still wouldn't have been above City on goal difference. So it's just one of those things where, you would much rather have the last minute winners. But the caveat is you need to guarantee me that's going to happen. So you
Yeah.
need to guarantee, right? It's going to be 2-all, but Trossard will score in the 94th minute, and you will win the game 4-2. If I knew that, then yeah, I would take that every single day of the week. What about yourself?
Um, yeah, I think as I said earlier, the crowd wasn't dead, it was expectant. And we were just enjoying it. It was a lovely sunny day. Leicester City at home. Man City drew, dropped points, we're 2-0 up, and so on. But at least, yeah, you're right. Something got into the crowd, and we felt alive again, and we were excited and happy. And yeah, you're right. You like the endorphins, you like that, and I think Arteta, this is sort of best of both worlds for him. So we get the win, but there's a lot for us to still work on to correct. For him to go in and say, right, you 2-0 up, game's not done. Don't care who it is. You don't give them a sniff. Don't give them a chance. So he's sort of got the best of everything there. He's got an opportunity to, how he loves to teach them and coach them and all the rest of it. But we've got the points. I'm gonna go for the other one because it shows your dominance, shows your control. So I understand from an emotional perspective and from an enjoyment perspective, but from a footballing perspective, you don't want to be conceding. You want to be in control. You want to be able to make substitutions with 30 minutes, 20 minutes to go. Right, let's give other people minutes. Let's rest people, and so on. So you may not learn as much, but if you're in a position that you're dominant, control, managing the game, no dramas, no stress, that means you're ready for bigger and harder things to come. From a football perspective, I will take that over a 4-2 win. But yes, but like you, and I think like a lot of people, it was fun. The fact that we got the win and we were happy and smiling, and we came away came away with that. But no, I'll take the 2-0. Thank you.
Yeah, good way to end part one of the podcast. And now we look ahead to what's going to be a completely different game tomorrow night against Paris Saint Germain. And they're without Ousmane Dembele. He's had a falling out with the manager apparently, so he's not going to be there, which is a huge boost to us. He's not travelled with the team, so I don't know if you've seen that, Tabs, or if you're on the
No,
flight. I don't know if you managed to see. So
no.
Ousmane Dembele has scored 4 goals, and I think he's like there. Yeah, he's 4 goals, 3 assists this season so far for PSG, and he has not travelled. So that's
Wow.
a huge positive. So when we talk about looking forward to and not looking forward to is for the game, that's my looking forward to. I'm looking forward to not having to worry about Ousmane Dembele running down the flanks. What I'm not looking forward to is it feels like it's almost a must win. And I know it's only game match week 2 of the Champions League, but it feels like if we lose or draw this game, then suddenly everything looks a little bit more cagey and hectic for the remaining 6 games that we have to play. Just because of obviously our last game when we drew, it PSG are not the team that they used to be though. They're not the team that had Mbappe, and Neymar, and so I think we will be okay. And it's a good job that we're playing them at home as well because I'm sure the crowd will lift the team. Um, but yeah, so that's what I'm looking forward to. Not looking forward to. What's yours?
Well, I'm going to be delivering a workshop during the game, so unfortunately, I'm going to have to be sort of surreptitiously looking at my phone, being the consummate professional that I am, uh, just following it. So unfortunately, I won't be able to watch. I'll have to catch it later. So that's unfortunately what I'm not looking forward to is trying to stay focused. I may even have to just turn my phone off and just and ignore it. And it's just and just come back to it later. Um,
You should do
yeah,
that
into
thing. You should do that thing where you just turn everything off, mute the Grove, mute all the
yeah.
chats, don't look at social media, and then just go on to like onto the highlights or whatever, and
Try and
then
find that with that and try and see it that way. But we'll see. We'll see. Look, it's PSG at home. It's the second game. It's not gonna mean that we're gonna finish in the top eight, and it's also not gonna mean we're not gonna finish in top eight, irrespective of the result. Obviously, we want to win. We're at home. So there isn't really much to look forward to because I won't be there, I won't be watching it, and I said not looking forward to. And on that point, I said actually PSG is in terms of you're right that his FOTMOB rating for the season is 8.15 on Dembele. So he will be a miss. I mean, it's not a massive journey from Paris to the Emirates if they suddenly make kiss and make up, but that is decent news. But also they're missing potentially Asensio. He's got a muscle injury. He's doubtful. Hernandez, he's out with it as well, and Vitinha, he's potentially out. So they've got a few players missing, but they seem to have started the season all right. Yeah, they're in the Farmers League. What they played 6, won 5, drew 1. They're scoring goals 20 and letting 5. So they beat Girona 1-0, only 1-0 in the first round of the Champions Leagues
Tabs, your
games.
your voice just all went robotic there. I don't know
Oh,
if your headphones are disconnected potentially.
no, no, I'm still here.
Oh no, you're back. You're back.
Okay,
Sorry, no.
sorry.
I just thought you turned into Erling Haaland for a second there, and I thought, oh my god, what's happened? Is Tabs about to score 3 goals into me or something on this podcast?
Heaven forbid. Yeah, so look, they're doing Paris Saint-Germain things. Okay, their worst result was a 1-1 draw against Lens away. So it's going to be hard to tell. I think it'll be a close game. I think be tight, be very European-esque. I think the first goal is going to be important. And also let's see who plays because I think fitness wise, I think we should be okay, apart from White. So maybe the same as he started against Leicester. Maybe Jesus in for Trossard, but other than that, same team, I'd imagine.
Sorry, listeners, it sounds like Tabs is also eating a packet of crisps at the same time as talking. I'm hoping you can hear him. He just said that his prediction for the game is a 7-0 win for Arsenal. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. We are having, speaking of, let's talk about the elephant in the room, since the theme of this podcast is elephants. And, we are having sound issues. So if anyone listening to the podcast knows of any potential, software, any programs we can use to record, then please, by all means, get in touch. Or even if you can recommend a new microphone or something along those lines, for us that we could potentially use, then we would be very grateful. But to round it off, and before I plug the socials, I want your prediction, Tabs. Go for it.
1-1.
Okay, 1-1, he says. Okay. I'm going for a 2-1 Arsenal win. Don't think it'll be easy, but I think we'll win. We'll win 2-1. And we'll find out this by kind of about 28 hours if we are right or wrong. And Tabs might not find out for 30 hours, but I'll be sure not to message you anything, Tabs, just in case you don't want to know, to be on the safe side. Please don't forget to follow us on the Grove AFC on all social media platforms, but especially Threads, where Tabs is doing a great job. We're gaining followers every single day, and it's brilliant to see some of the threads that he is posting. So keep an eye on that. You can just link your Instagram account to Threads, so it's not requiring any signing up or anything like that. And yeah, we'll be back very, very soon. We'll probably record again. I would say Wednesday, so we'll release an episode on Wednesday or Thursday this week for the PSG post match review, and then also we'll look ahead to the game against Southampton, where Aaron Ramsdale is going to be racking his brains trying to think of all the corner kick routines that Arsenal used to have, and he'll be making sure that he doesn't fall victim to any dark arts from Dark Arts FC. But thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back very, very soon. Tabs, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your time in LA, and stay safe. And we miss you, and hopefully your workshop goes well, and your marathon training is going well as well. And we'll see you very soon.
I'll be back for Southampton. I fly in the morning of the game, and I'll be dump my bags and straight to the Emirates.
Well, you heard it there from the robot himself, guys. He'll be back at the Emirates on the weekend. We'll see you all soon. Bye for now.
Cheers. Bye bye. Bye bye.